Hi everybody! I hope everybody is doing great. This is episode 92 of the Fleece and Harmony Knitting and Crochet podcast. You're seeing this on March 18th if you're watching it the day that it's published. I want to welcome everybody that has been here before and have joined me again, and I'll welcome everybody that's new. The podcast is being recorded in our yarn shop, which is in our woolen mill, which is on our sheep farm in Belfast, Prince Edward Island. So welcome to the show. So this week, it's going to be a little bit of a different format. Betsy's not able to join us this week, but she'll be back the next time. So we're not going to talk about lambing or llamas, crocheted llamas, or we'll have to wait to see. She's working on some kind of big project, so we'll have to wait to see how that goes next week as well. So we'll miss all the adventures that Betsy has with her knitting this week. But I have, and I haven't knit anything in a week, so I'm not even going to show my works in progress that I usually do. And but we'll talk about, we've got lots to talk about this week. So we have all the regular segments for the farm update, and there is a little bit of a kind of a finished object that's going to become a whip or work in progress. And we have the regular segments with the Harmony Meadow or the Harmony part at the end. And we'll talk about the Fibre Festival. And if we're into a section that you're not interested in, it happens, not offended, it's okay. Then I just want to remind you that the chapters are at the bottom of the screen. So if you use your mouse along the bottom of the screen, you see that the whole video is divided up into chapters. And before I forget, because I always forget, if you like what you see and you haven't subscribed yet, I'll ask you to subscribe. We're still working towards the 10,000. We made a pretty good chunk of it in the last 2 weeks, but we just have a little more of a push to do. If you can also set your notifications so that you know when we send out a video into the world, and you can get your bell notifications and as well. So that all helps the channel. We're going to go right to the farm update and tell you what's going on in the farm, and it's really not much. So everybody is good. Finally, the ice melted in the field, so we're not worried about the horses skating around out there anymore, finally. And the time changed. So we have daylight, well, I never can remember if it's the winter is daylight savings time, I think. So we're back to regular standard time. So it means now we're getting up in the dark again, but the days are really, really long. And I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference in the way that things look here. We always record at the end of the day on a Tuesday, and sometimes it gets dark while we're recording. But there's like brilliant sunshine tonight because the days are longer because we had the time change. So spring forward. So it moved forward. I think we lost an hour of sleep. So everybody's yawning around here the last couple days because that just happened on like in the middle of the night on Saturday or early Sunday morning. So we all lost an hour of sleep, but we have brilliant sunshine after 5 o'clock in the evening, which is great. And I don't know when the sun actually goes down these days, but it's probably getting pretty close to 7 o'clock or so already. So that means that even though we have a little bit of snow happening off and on, it all melts really, really quickly, and the mornings can be a little bit crisp, but the days seem to be beautiful. And even though it's the temperature, even if it says close to freezing, there's a real warmth in the sun. So that's always hopeful for us that spring actually comes. Even though here in Belfast, on Prince Edward Island, we do have a month called January, and it's not a joke. It's sometimes below 10 degrees Celsius in June, and especially in some of the evenings. So it seems like spring is a long time coming, but it's just the way it is. And we really make up for it at the other end of the summer because our falls are really, I think our falls are the best time of the year here. So we look forward to summer coming And then we'll have our fall, and then fall means the Fibre Festival is almost here, and wait till I tell you what's going on with that. So you can see I'm procrastinating because I don't have any works in progress to show you. So literally I did like, I don't know, 10 rows on my tungsten sweater, and that's it. So you can't even see anything, the work that I did. And I never cast on my cowl cardigan yet because I did the swatch, but you saw that already. But I haven't cast on the cowl cardigan. And I worked a little bit on paisley, but again, not even enough to bother showing you. So I'm not going to show you any of my works in progress this time. And I have made a promise to myself that I will do better in the next 2 weeks. I had my mom here visiting me, which was great. So I paid attention to her. And I'm happy that we spent time together. And she asked me every night, aren't you going to knit? And I said, no, I'm just going to watch TV with you. So that's it. So that's the week that I had this last week. I never even sewed on the buttons on Penelope and Pierre, the little cotton rabbits that I have. And I did pick out the buttons I'm going to sew, but I never even did that. So it was just a little bit of a break. But I will be back knitting. Now I'm actually starting to get the itch. Like I kind of missed the knitting. Not while I was visiting, but I feel now like I'm missing something because I haven't knit in the last few weeks. So, but what we're going to focus on today is about some things that have happened, not with my knitting, but with Jennifer Hicks knitting. And I really am really grateful to Jennifer Hicks because she is going to allow me to show her sweater, which didn't turn out the way that she had expected. But I think that it's really a valuable lesson and worth talking about. So she's graciously allowed me to show her Elda sweater, which is finished technically, but won't be finished for long because she's going to frog it. And I'm going to explain why. And we received all of the Rowan Spring orders, and I think it's really the perfect time to talk about what happened with Jennifer's sweater, so that I can explain to you a little bit about the Rowan patterns and how you can avoid this situation for the most part when you knit something. So sometimes you knit something and it just doesn't look the way that you want. And this is a case of that, but all's not lost because she will frog it, recondition the yarn, and knit it over again. And when I tell you what happened and what she's going to do, you'll see why she's doing it. I'm wearing a Rowan design. This was actually designed by Amy Herzog, who I love because she has the Ultimate Sweater book, and she Knitwear Love and things like that. So Amy designed this sweater for Rowan back in 2016, I think, and then the pattern was revamped in 2019. So it's not a new design. It is knit in Kid Classic. So you know that we're loving Kid Classic. We've done a few different projects with Kid Classic in the last little while, and my cowl cardigan is going to be knit in Kid Classic. So I have this sample that was sent to me by Rowan, and the name of the sweater is Darien, and you can buy it on Ravelry, so you don't need to buy a book. You can buy it on Ravelry. The pattern is there to purchase, and it comes in 2 versions. So I am wearing the short sleeve version with a ballet neck, and it also comes with a scoop neck and long sleeves, and so you have a choice of your sleeve length and you have a choice of the neckline that you have. So it's this color is Tattoo and Drought, so the light bluish gray is Drought. Those colors are still existing in the lineup, so you can see how this is. But you know what I'm always talking about the little details that make something really special. I love these little vents at the elbow with the short sleeve version. I personally would have never got how come you would knit a sweater with short sleeves in Kid Classic, because Kid Classic is a warm wool. But I don't know, it works. It's good. You have this little pleat here or vent on the sleeve, and it's quite comfortable. And I'm wearing it next to my skin, so that's what I'm wearing. And I guess it just shows the longevity. I mean, Rowan is, they have fashion forward patterns, but yet there's a classicness to them that allows you to wear the garment for many years. I mean, 2016 wasn't yesterday, so it's just as relevant today as it was then. So now I'm going to go right to the finished object that Jennifer Hicks did, and it's the Elda Sweater. And it's out of the book, Kid Classics, 4 projects for Kid Classic. And you've seen this as it was done piece by piece. It is knit in Kid Classic in mulberry. So it's this beautiful purpley burgundy. And the sweater is knit in fisherman's rib. So it's a drop shoulder, and it didn't turn out the way that Jennifer expected, because look how big it is. It's really, really large. And I'm going to tell you how that happened, because if you've been watching us for a while, you know that Jennifer Hicks does a lot of knitting for herself and for us. She does like a lot of sample knitting, and she does a lot of test knitting for some designers. And I can tell you that her gauge is always spot on. But she got caught on this in this case, and I think it's worth talking about it because a bunch of things happened. She can't wear this sweater because it's so big that it's not really comfortable for her to wear it, and because it has a drop shoulder, it's big enough that the shoulder is way up here instead of being down here, so that means that the sleeves are way too long. So it's really just an unfortunate thing. So I'm going to show the picture of how the sweater looks in the book. So I'll just put that here. And if you notice that it looks like it's a body skimming sweater in the picture. So the rule number 1, or the lesson number 1, is don't just take it for granted that the picture is the way that the sweater fits. You have to look at the size that is knit, and you have to know a little bit about the size of the model. So now Rowan is putting the model's chest size on almost every picture that they show. Like all the patterns at least have one picture that gives the size that the model is, and you really need to pay attention to what size the sample is that the model is wearing. So in this case, it's a small model, and she's knitting a size that's slightly bigger, or sorry, is the right size for her. But if you look at the schematic of the pattern, it gives the amount of ease that there is, and there's 8.5 inches of ease written into the pattern for the Elda sweater. So at 8.5 inches, there is no way that this is going to be like a really body skimming sweater the way that it looks in that picture, or what Jennifer Hicks was hoping for. So the 8.5 inches. So what we did, because obviously Jennifer was disappointed because it didn't look the way that she wanted it to look. So what we did was we took a measuring tape, and we took the tape out to the size that the pattern schematic said would be, because she blocked it to exactly the dimensions that she knit for her size. And we put the tape measure around her. And if you're not a good judge about how big 8.5 inches of positive ease is, the measuring tape would show you she would have never knit that size if she had done that little exercise. You need help to do it if you're going to try it. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that she actually knit at the upper range of the sizing, so that so her chest measurement was at the lower range, and so the knitting is for the larger range of the little size, like how many inches it was to whatever inches. So she was at she should have gone down to the next segment of sizes, but instead she went up, and then on top of that you've got the ease. And the other thing is that this is her first garment that she knit with fisherman's knit, and she thought that fisherman's knit would contract the way regular ribbing does, I keep saying fisherman's knit, fisherman's rib. And she thought it would actually contract the way that regular ribbing does at the bottom of your sweater, but it doesn't. It's just a design. So it's not, it's a little bit stretchy, but I mean, it's not super stretchy, but it doesn't contract at all. The way the stitch structure is it stays exactly the way that, that it looks when you finish the fabric. So all of these things meant that I'm pretty sure that the positive ease on this, if we were able to really do the measurements or whatever, is actually even bigger than 8.5 inches, which would have been too big anyway, based on what she wanted when she looked at the picture. So it was a big disappointment when she tried it on. And she knew when she was blocking it that there was going to be a bit of a problem, but she just didn't realize the scale of the problem. So she's going to take it apart. She's going to unravel everything, and she's going to reknit, and she's going to actually go down. We did all the calculations together and everything, and she's actually going to go down 2 size ranges, and she'll get the sweater that she was dreaming of. The fabric feels so nice, and I mean, it's really, really disappointing. This sweater is in the bad corner right now for a while. She's not going to tackle it right away, but it's really, really beautiful. And as we always say, when you're knitting with good quality wool, you can totally do that. She's going to unravel it and reknit it. She did do a little bit, inspired by Betsy, I guess. She did a little bit of surgery on the sleeves because she felt that there was a little bit too much fabric under the sleeve. And so she's going to be short a little bit of yarn versus what she needed for the size that she knit. But because she's going to go down 2 size ranges, she's actually probably going to have yarn left over. So that's the sweater discussion on Elda, and a bit of a disappointment, but totally fixable, and a lot of lessons learned for me as well. She was so worried that it was going to be too small that she kind of went up. She was generous with the size that she chose, and then all of those other things conspired against her, that she didn't end up with the sweater that she wanted. So when I'm going to show some slides in the magazine, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the way a Rowan magazine is set up, because you'll be able to, that will help you when you're choosing the pattern so that you get the perfect size the way you expect. So, and this is not, it has nothing to do with measuring gauge and everything, because if you've been watching me for a while, by now you know that's just a given to knit your swatch, wash and block your swatch if it's supposed to be blocked, and measure the gauge on the swatch the way you'll be caring for your sweater. So I'm not even going to talk about that because that's just a given, but there's a lot of extra little things that you can do to make sure that you get the right size in your garment. So that's Elda. So Jennifer is also knitting a couple other projects. As I said, she's going to knit all 4 projects in the Kid Classic 4 Projects book, and she's knitting the scarf. So here it is, and I forgot to write down the name of it. I think it's called I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll put the title underneath. And she's starting that. It's a super easy project. So she's working on another sweater, a test knit for Susan Clouston, actually, that designed the Eleanor sweater that we helped her launch that pattern about a year ago or more. And so she's doing a test knit. It's a little bit of a complicated knit. So Jennifer has chosen a pattern that's really kind of relaxed knitting to complement that project that she has to concentrate on. So this scarf is just easy knitting. And then she'll have 2 pieces of her wardrobe, her little wardrobe capsule that she's doing from the Kid Classic 4 Projects book. So we're going to come back to some of the things that we talked about for this for the Elda when I show you the magazine, the Rowan magazine. So that's it. Whips and rips and finished objects. That's all I got. So that's that for those things. So the next segment I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk a little bit more about the collaboration that we're doing as far as the yarn collaboration with the Mercerie. The Mercerie is the right way to pronounce the name that I totally butchered in the last podcast. I had spelt it wrong on my cheat sheet, and when I spelt it wrong, I tried to read it the way that I spelt it and didn't realize that I had the spelling incorrect. So no wonder I was struggling with the name. So it's the Mercerie, and I'll put the link in the show notes to where you can find that website. So the designer for the Mercerie is Sue Matten, and you saw the last time these beautiful projects that she's doing. So she's doing two classes. One is called Homage to the Granny Square, and the other one is called Wallflowers. The registration for those video classes is open now. It opened 2 weeks ago. And where we come in is that Sue uses felted tweed in a lot of her projects. And she was looking for stockists that she could recommend for people that are doing the online classes. So they contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in that. So I absolutely said yes, I would. And I am offering, supporting them with a 10% discount on felted tweed when you buy at least 10 balls to complete one of those two classes, the projects. The discount does not start until May 1st, which is when the video tutorials start and the project, the knit along, starts. And the reason why you can't order your yarn until the videos start to be published is because the first video talks a lot about how to choose your colors. So everything is knit and felted tweed, but there's a lot of different color combinations. And if you go on the Mercerie's website, you'll be able to see the kind of projects that Sue designs. I think they're just fascinating and beautiful. But you can tell she's a really keen color expert, and she takes the time to help you with your color choices at the beginning of the classes. So she actually doesn't want you to buy the yarn up like too far in advance, or not in advance at all. She wants to be able to talk to you about color selection so that you get something that you're going to really, really love, and then you buy your yarn. So since we stock every color of felted tweed, you can do whatever combination is possible because we have all of the colors, and we carry quantities in everything. So I think there's 53 colors now of felted tweed, so you're bound to find a combination that you love. And we will be sure that we have inventory so that you get what you want there. And so we ship out pretty quickly when we have things in stock, and we don't have to make it, or unless we tell you that, like we did an offer on Kid Classic when we were in the purchasing stage of deciding what colors we're going to do for the cowl cardigan. We said up front that we'll order it if we don't have it in stock, because that project takes a lot of yarn. In this case, we should have yarn for everybody to get whatever they want in felted tweed. But if I have to, I will let you know that I will order in for you if I don't have it in stock, so that you get exactly the colors that you want for your beautiful wallflowers or the Homage to the Granny Square blanket. So that's for the Mercerie. So you can sign up now for the videos, but you should hold off on purchasing your yarn until you've seen at least the first one, because they're going to talk about color choices. And when you do decide that you're ready to embark on that and what colors you want, there will be a discount for felted tweed when you buy at least 10 balls. And that will run from May 1st until the end of all the video tutorials are done. It's sometime in October. So you've got a nice long window to be able to purchase. And again, the wallflowers and obviously the granny squares, it's a crochet project. So we're really happy to be able to support that. And if you need your crochet hooks, we have the Rowan crochet hooks as well, that you can purchase from us too. So we'll have you covered for your Mercerie project. So now we'll go to the shop update, and it's kind of a long one because all of the boxes arrived last week from Rowan, so it's quite a big selection of new things. I'm not going to show or highlight everything in this episode because there is really so much that I'll just be droning on forever. But I've picked a few of the things that I wanted to talk about today. So the first thing is, before we get to brand new yarns, which there are, we have decided to carry the cotton cashmere yarn that is made by Rowan, and I just picked out a very small selection of the colors. So cotton cashmere is 85% cotton and 15% cashmere. So it has a very soft and kind of silky feel, but it is a cotton, so great for summer wear. And it features really prominently in magazine 71 and other magazines like the Mode magazine as well in this season. So you'll see that there's a bit of a theme going on with the colors that Rowan has chosen to use for a lot of their segments in the different in the magazines and the books. And it's all kind of a lot of yellow and orange and orange is not really a neutral, but it can kind of look like a neutral. So you're going to see those kind of themes and soft colors like this. So I just picked out 3 colors, but we have every color of cotton cashmere, and we have sweater quantities of every color that they make. So that line is now complete. So you'll have that to try if you haven't tried cotton cashmere before. And I'm going to do a slideshow from magazine 71, and I will do titles on the pictures that say what yarns are used, because they're using a lot of Summerlite DK, Summerlite 4-ply, which we've had in stock for quite a while, and Cotton Glacé. So Cotton Glacé, we had a few colors in stock, but now I've stocked most of the colors. I think I might be missing a couple, but I have certainly everything that you would need to knit anything in the spring 2022 books that are available. So cotton cashmere is the big one. I'm putting the the weight and the length of the balls right here below, so you can see that. And it figures prominently in a lot of patterns that I'm going to show you. So we'll go to the slideshow for magazine 71, magazine 71. And the theme of the magazine is joy. So let's take a look at those bright, sunny patterns that are in that book. So that was the slideshow. This is the book. I have to tell you that it was a day filled with sunshine when we opened up these boxes, because this cover is definitely joyful. So the designers were tasked with, they were briefed to design with joy in mind, and that's what the objective was, is to design joyful things. So as you saw, you have a lot of nice colors in there, and there's a lot of use of really great colors. K Facet, of course, is, mad with colors, so that's great. And there's really, really good little editorial bits in here where each of the designers talks about what brings them joy and when they're designing. So it's really a great book. There's lots of things in here that are very knittable. There's some really great crochet patterns, like the kind of I guess it would be like a cover up, because it's got holes all through it, so it would be like a beach cover up. And it's just up to the regular standards of Rowan, which are fantastic. But what I wanted to talk about in this book is that if you order the Rowan book and the magazine, and you look at patterns, and you just go and you look at the patterns and you decide what you're going to knit, I just want to call to your attention all of the information that's in the back of the book. I'm just going to find it because it's right before, it's at the back. There's all the stockists, and there's different information pages at the back of the book. So there's sizing information, and you won't be able to see it, but you'll see there at the very back. So there's all of the stockists at the very back, and then right before that, there's the different information pages. So there's a lot of really, really great information on these pages, and they really explain what their intention was with the different sizing. So it goes into the detail about how the size ranges are. As you know, they've expanded their size ranges for both men and women. And it explains, they use the UK crochet terms, and they give you a translation for what it is, the equivalent is in the US. They talk about how to judge the difficulty of the patterns. They rank all of their patterns by how difficult or how easy they are. So you have that information. There's a key in the back of the book for that. And they also talk about the other things, details that you would need when you're choosing your pattern. So it's really great to take a look at this. They tell how their schematics work, where they do the measurements when they're doing the measurements, so you know exactly where on your body the schematic measurement is. So all of that information is there in the back of the book. The other thing that they're doing is that under the pictures, of course, the one that I just opened up to, it's not here, but on the pictures of the models, they are saying so if the model appears a couple times, then you may not see the size, but they have labeled all of the pictures. You won't be able to see it, but underneath the picture, it shows what size the model is and what size garment she's wearing. So what they knit for the sample. So it's not always the model is a size 38 and they knit the 38 size and that's what she's wearing. Sometimes she's wearing a different size than what her bust measurement is. So you need to look at that, because if you want your garment to turn out the way that it looks on the model, or you don't want it to turn out the way that it looks in the model, you want it either looser or tighter or whatever, then you need to look at this in the magazine. And here's a really good example of a garment that's shown on two different models. And they tell you the size of the model, and they tell you the size of the sample that she's wearing. And I was surprised, because I took a really good look at this in this magazine in light of what happened with Jennifer's sweater. And sometimes they're wearing bigger sizes than what their bust size is. Sometimes they're wearing smaller sizes. Sometimes they're wearing the exact size, but it actually looks like the garment is oversized, which means the garment is going to be oversized when you knit the pattern, if you follow the exact guidelines. And maybe you don't want that. There's an example of a cardigan in here, which is really like quite big and boxy. And it's the model size and the garment size are exactly matched. But if you don't want a boxy cardigan, but you love the pattern that's on the cardigan, you can also make the adjustments there. So that goes to the ease, like what we talked about for the Elda sweater. And if you're unsure, or like, I'm terrible with judging how big, if ease is, so many inches, what does that actually look like? Just do the measuring tape trick that I talked about, and you can gives you an idea of how wide around you the sweater is, or the garment. And the opposite is true. If you want negative ease, you also want to know how tight it is. So tighten up your tape and see, how tight is it, and keep in mind the stitch pattern that's in the garment. So cables, you have to block them to the size that the schematic, if you want to block them to the size that the schematic is saying. If you don't block them, that they're gonna bring in the fabric a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. It tightens up. Fisherman's rib, we found out, doesn't tighten up, so you can gather that also from your swatch. But just pay attention to those details before you put in the work. And that's I'm not trying to, it's just to help you. So we're not, Jennifer Hicks is a great knitter, and she, is always right on gauge. So it's just, even her, with the experience that she has, can get caught. I've been caught before, and for sure everybody's got the tail like that in their knitting bag, or maybe still in their knitting bag in the corner somewhere. But these are just little hints that can help you get exactly what you want. So that magazine 71, and there's lots of resources in the magazine besides just the patterns and the nice editorials, that if you go through the book and really look at it, you'll learn exactly how their thinking is with their patterns. So that's that. So the next book I want to show is the Mode book. So this is Mode Collection 6. And if you've looked at a few of the Mode books, you figure out by now they kind of have a color theme. They're usually more kind of neutrally colors. So this one is the same. And we're going to do a little fashion show with this one as well, because there's some really, really cute designs in there as well. So we're going to take a look at that. Collection 6 Lots of classic, lovely designs in there. I really like the Eve sweater, the little striped kind of t-shirty looking one. They're using a lot of combinations of yarns in this. So Kidsilk Haze really figures prominently in this book, and it can be combined with Summerlite 4-ply or Summerlite DK, or in like the Eve sweater, there's stripes. I think it's Summerlite 4-ply and Kidsilk Haze. So the one stripe is Kidsilk Haze and the other one is the 4-ply. So there's some really great patterns in this, and I've said this a couple times now, is that I kind of passed over these mode books, but now I think there's some of my favorite designs are in them, and again, very classic and beautifully designed by different designers. Okay, so that's mode number 6. And there's about 7 more books that I'm going to go through over the next few podcasts, because there's lots of book publications this season. So for new yarns, we have a brand new yarn in the Rowan family. And it's a Kidsilk Haze yarn with a variegation. So it's very, very subtle, and I'm not even really going to be able to really show it to you very well. So these are just some of the colors. There's 8 colors, and this one probably shows it the best because it's a little bit darker, but it's all very tonal, but you can see that there's bits of it that look darker and lighter, so it has like that kind of tonal variegation on it. I brought out the shade card, which you can't buy the shade card fortunately, it's just for the retailers, but those are all of the shades. And the thing to know about this is that it's double the size of the regular Kid Classic, so it's actually a 50-gram ball. And there's a little booklet that goes with it. So the book has 2 patterns in it, 2 wraps, and one has a lace edge and the other one is more or less kind of plain with a little bit of edging in it. And they take a lot of time in the book to show you how they knit up, all of the different colors knit up, so that you have a good idea of how the variegation is going to look. So there's a lot of fashion shots in here of the different colors, so that you're not surprised. You're going to be able to see exactly what like I said, the variegation works, and the 2 different wraps are there. So the wraps are knit singly and take 3 balls. So you get a full-size wrap with using three balls of this. And if you have not knit with Kidsilk Haze before and felt what it's like, it's very light and airy, but gives you a really nice warmth. So on cool summer evenings and everything, these 2 wraps, either one of them would be just beautiful. So that's the Kidsilk Haze Color is the name of that yarn. It's 459 yards to the ball, and like I said, 50 grams, so double the size of the regular Kidsilk Haze ball. And there's new colors in Kidsilk Haze as well. So I have 4 new colors, and 1 color that's been around for a while, but then was discontinued, but now it's back again. So back by popular demand. That's burnt caramel. So if burnt caramel was your favorite color and you were disappointed because it was discontinued, it's back. So it joins this range of new colors. So we have burnt caramel, we have mineral, we have ochre. So you see more of those sunny colors. We have lila, which is this little pinkish mauvey color. And we have another new color, which is mint in the Kidsilk Haze. And this is the regular size ball, the regular Kidsilk Haze. And they're using Kidsilk Haze a lot with other yarns, either stranded with them or alternating with the cotton yarns. And so they've just kind of rounded out their range of colors with these shades. Okay, so there's So there's that. So for new in the shop, you have the new colors of Kidsilk Haze. We have the full line of cotton cashmere, which is new. I've filled out the range in Cotton Glacé. So Cotton Glacé, I have almost every color. And we also filled in some little gaps that I had in Summerlite DK and in Summerlite 4-ply. So everything that you need for summer is done. We also brought in a few more colors of creative linen, so you can check that out. Creative linen is used pretty extensively in the magazine as well this time for summer, obviously. And so I think that's it for the shop update. But it's quite a lot. And I have one more book though that I want to show you, because it's a book that was published a little while ago by Rowan. And it is called Cotton Crochet. So there's lots of really kind of lacy patterns. I won't show a slideshow of it, but you can check it out on the website. And they use Summerlite DK, and look at this. It's just gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then on the back, of course, you've got lots of these kind of lacy designs as well in the cotton crochet. So we're gradually developing our inventory of crochet books and supplies and everything. So I'm really happy to be able to do that. And it's fun. And I'm really going back to crochet, trying to think about if I'm going to be able to maybe take one of those courses from the Mercerie, because it really looks like they're beautiful, those projects, but I just don't know if I have the time to do it. And I'm thinking I probably don't, but it's really tempting. So we're going to talk about the Fibre Festival now. So I just want to be clear about the fact that we're not running, Fleece and Harmony is not running the Fibre Festival. So, but I am on the committee, the organizing committee. We do have an organizing team that is officially doing all of the details, but there's a 5-person team that's working on the Fibre Festival, and I'm just one of the five people. So even though I talk about it all the time, it's just because I'm really excited that it's actually going to happen. So now, if you go to the website for the PEI Fibre Festival, you're going to see that it's really starting to round out the vendors that are coming. There still is a little bit of room for vendors. So if you know a great yarn company that you think should be there, you should, or like a business, a yarn business, then you should let them know that the Fibre Festival is happening in PEI. We are still have to go through a few applications that we haven't confirmed yet. So you can still apply to be a vendor. We have most of the instructors have all been confirmed. And you can see the classes that they're going to be teaching on, or the workshop or lectures that are now already up on the Fibre Festival website that you can look at. But no tickets are on sale yet, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. We're waiting for the tickets because there's a lot of things to be done, like as far as the schedule goes, and it's a bit of a puzzle about how to fit everybody into the rooms and everything that we have, the space that we have. So we will let you know well in advance of when the tickets are going to be for sale. So it's probably going to be around the 1st of April. We're working really hard to get that done. If you want to be the first people to be notified, then there is a newsletter for the Fibre Festival that you can sign up for that newsletter on the website. The website is changing literally every day because we're getting new confirmations, so you can check that out. The website also has a list of hotels where there is preferential rates for festival goers, so you can check those out as well. And like I said, it's changing every day, and it's being translated into French as well, so it'll be in French and English. So Sign up for the newsletter so that you know what's going on. Check out the website so you know who's going to be there and what's happening. And we have some great presenters. We feel really lucky that we have. We talked already about Andrea and Madeline from Fruity Knitting coming to the Podcaster Lounge. So, the working name was the Podcaster Lounge, but we changed that to the Fibre Fan Lounge because we also have some authors there. So Christine and Shirley from Saltwater Mittens are going to be, the Saltwater books are going to be there. Patty Lyons has confirmed that she will teach some courses. Kristen Drysdale is coming from Scandiwork to teach some workshops. And there's just a whole lot of other great people. Some local artists are going to be featured as well in the workshops. So we really, things are really coming together, and it's like so exciting that it's actually going to happen. It's been like 3 years that we've been talking about it, and it's finally going to happen. So check it out. And sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already done so that you know when the tickets go on sale. And we really just want to be like super organized so that everything goes really smoothly when people are ready to buy their tickets. So that's why we're taking our time to do it. But you haven't missed anything yet. So go sign up so that you get the notifications as soon as possible. And now I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to breathe for a few minutes, and we're going to go to the harmony part. So I'm calling this one Spring is Coming. Might not look like it, but maybe I should call it The Snow is Going, because that's kind of the theme of the harmony part. I haven't chosen the music yet, and I can go two different ways, kind of dramatic and cinematic, or I can just do peaceful and quiet, but we'll see how I'm feeling when I choose the music tomorrow. But you're looking at the back part of our farm. So it's not really much. We haven't shown much of this end of our farm, but this is the bit of the farm that's the back 40. Let's put it that way, back by the woodlot. And so we're going to let you relax for a few minutes with looking at the back part of our farm. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Try to find some joy in the next 2 weeks, where even if it's just a couple stolen moments of relaxation, and let's all pray and hope and put our minds together for peace in the world, in that we can be able to spread joy freely and be happy about it soon. So have a great 2 weeks and enjoy the harmony part. Bye.